We see the headlines about massive lawsuits and market monopolies, but we rarely see the actual mechanics of how they're being fought. This is Econ Works. We look past the talking points to find where law, economics, and markets actually collide. Let's get into it.
Feed. We're going to dive into how Meta's algorithms aren't just picking what you see, they might actually be shaping the entire competitive landscape for creators, essentially creating winners and losers before you even start to scroll. So let me just ask you this straight up. When you're scrolling through your feed, are you really just catching up with friends and family? Or are you actually watching a high-stakes battle for your eyeballs? That is the big question we're digging into today.
You know, it wasn't always this complicated. For a long time, social media was pretty simple. You'd see the newest post from whoever you followed right there at the top. But yeah, that's not how it works anymore. Today's platforms, especially from a company like Meta, have totally replaced that simple timeline with these incredibly powerful and complex algorithmic ranking systems.
And these systems are making three gigantic decisions every single second of the day. First, what even gets to be on your feed? Second, how high up you see it. And third, who gets recommended to totally new audiences. Now, this is not random at all. It's a very carefully controlled system, and it's all designed to guide your attention.
So how does this whole curation thing actually work? Well, it's a process we can break down into three pretty simple stages that basically determine everything you see on your screen.
It all kicks off with ranking. The algorithm sifts through, millions of pieces of content to decide on visibility. That's what you actually see. And then finally, that visibility is what has to compete for and hopefully capture your attention. So think of it this way. Ranking, which leads to visibility, which leads to attention. That's the basic flow.
But of course, it doesn't just stop with you seeing something, right? The whole point for the platform is for you to do something. And this is where we shift from just passively looking to actively engaging with the content.
So what exactly is engagement? Well, it's pretty much every action you take. The views, the likes, the shares, the comments you leave. And believe me, for creators and for the platform itself, engagement is really the only currency that matters.
And here's the critical connection. When a post gets high visibility, it's placed right at the very top of your feed, the chances that you'll interact with it go way, way up. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful dynamic. More visibility almost always leads to more engagement.
Okay, now this is where the system gets really, really interesting. We've seen how visibility drives engagement, but what happens to all that data from your likes and your shares? It doesn't just vanish into thin air, it actually becomes the fuel for the algorithm itself.
Just think about it for a second. Every single time you like a post or share a video, you're sending a signal. But where does that signal actually go? And what does it do?
And here it is, the answer. All that engagement data gets fed directly back into the ranking algorithm. This creates what's called a feedback loop, and it is powerful. The algorithm sees a post as getting tons of engagement, and what does it do? It gives it even more visibility, which, you guessed it, generates even more engagement. It becomes a self-reinforcing cycle.
And this algorithm is hungry for very specific signals to keep that loop spinning. We're talking more than just likes and shares. It's tracking things like watch time, how long you actually watch a video. Every extra second you stick around is another signal to the algorithm that basically says, hey, this is working, show it to more people.
So, now that we kind of get the mechanics behind the scenes, let's talk about the consequences. Because this feedback loop doesn't just promote content, it creates a full-blown competitive arena. And in that arena, there are very clear winners and losers.
And here is the core problem, especially from a competition and antitrust perspective. If you're a brand new creator, you are literally starting from zero. You have no engagement data for the algorithm to latch onto. So you're trying to break into a system that is fundamentally designed to reward success that's already there.
This chart right here makes that imbalance crystal clear. On one side, you've got an established creator who's already on this flywheel of engagement, right? Their success just keeps breeding more success. But on the other side, you've got the new creator who's basically stuck at the starting line, just fighting to get that initial visibility they need to even get in the race. The whole system is built to amplify momentum, not necessarily to find the best new thing.
And this just creates a vicious cycle for new creators. They put out some content, but it gets very low reach, which leads to low engagement. And that low engagement then tells the algorithm not to show it to any more people. It's a trap, and it can effectively lock them right out of the competition.
Okay, so let's zoom all the way out. We've seen the mechanism, we've seen the impact, and this brings us to a much bigger and frankly much more critical question about the very nature of competition on these gigantic platforms.
So here's the crucial takeaway. What if winning on social media isn't actually about who makes the best, most interesting, highest quality content? What if it's really just about who is best at gaming the algorithm, or who already has the momentum that the algorithm is designed to favor? Suddenly, the platform isn't a neutral stage anymore. It's more like an active referee that's deciding who gets the ball.
And that all leads us to this final, and I think very provocative question. Is it fair for a single platform to have this much power to influence who succeeds and who fails? Should a company like Meta really be allowed to direct our collective attention in a way that can shape entire markets? It's a fundamental question for our digital age, and honestly, it's one we all need to be thinking about.
Thanks for watching. For the deep dive economic analysis behind these stories, join us at econworks.com. Subscribe to stay informed on where law and economics meet the market. We'll see you in the next episode.